Guys, welcome back to another video in this channel. Today we're actually going to be working on a very cool mask that I came out like an idea that I was trying to get out, right? So if you guys remember, a couple of weeks ago we did a small little series on the basics of just like the female proportion of the face, right? It's here in the channel. If you want to check it out, just look to the suggested part over like there and you should find something. But yeah, so after that one, I thought it would be a good idea to use this new proportions that we have to create something a little bit more interesting. And I actually went ahead and used a stable diffusion, which is the AI like generating thing. I've been like, I'm like it's a technology that we can't ignore, right? I know that right now it's a little bit of a weird area. There's a lot of artists that are justifiably, I would say, outraged due to the way it's being used. But I've mentioned in the video where we talked about this type of art that it could be a good way to kickstart your creativity process. And I just inputted a couple of things like concept art, fantasy, stuff like that. And I found this mask, which looks really, really dope, I would say. And we're going to be using the female shape to create a mask like this one, similar to this one. Might not be exactly the same. You can see there's a lot of noise and things right here that look interesting. But once we transform this into an actual asset, we're going to have to adapt. That's why I don't think that it's going to be the end of concept art, because it's still very dirty, right? Like, it's just a general idea. You can see the eyes and the face look really, really bad. But for me, for instance, that I've been working on this industry for a long time now, I can see this, I can get the idea of what we're trying to convey, and then we can use that to create something interesting. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to jump here into Zbrush, and we're going to do, we're going to try to create a mask that follows the sort of like shape that we're going for. And the technique that I'm going to be using is the masking technique. We've used this technique before. It's a technique where we're going to be extracting the main shapes. I'm immediately seeing a couple of things that look slightly off. So I'm going to fix the proportions here real quick. The eyes, sorry, we're a little bit high. Yeah, there's a couple of things that we can still like tweak and modify. But in general, I think we're in a good position. Now, if you guys want to learn a little bit more about our premium courses, such as our very famous, one of our best-selling courses, which is the Complete Guide to Zbrush 2022, remember that you can check this thing in Skillshare. Hey guys, Abraham here. I just want to remind you guys that we upload all of our courses to Skillshare. Skillshare is this amazing site where you can access a ton of different content to learn, improve, and grow as an artist. We have all of our courses available to watch and learn from right now in Skillshare. You can check the description down here, and Skillshare is offering 1 free month trial to their premium membership. With this membership, you're going to be able to access all of our courses and watch and learn all of the amazing things that we cover with all of the softwares. So, what are you waiting for? Check Skillshare down here below. There we go. So this technique that we're about to see, I've actually seen some concept artists use this for, cosplay artists use this for their cosplay creations, because you can technically scan yourself. I've been thinking about showing you guys how to do that. You can scan yourself and use your head as a reference to create like any sort of like mask or contraption. And if you 3D print it, it's going to be really, really close to your actual like face shape. So that makes it way, way more comfortable to wear and everything. So what we're going to do here is, following a little bit of the concept art, I'm going to mask out. I'm going to just go into mask lasso real quick. We're going to mask the general shape of the face, which is like right about here. It goes and covers the ears like this. Actually, it goes like a little bit under the chin and then goes up. It's really flush to the face, actually, like this, and then like this, up, around. And then it creates like a nice little curve and then a pointy bit right there. So that's roughly the shape from the side, like the general like silhouette that we're gonna be going for. I think we might not want to push this as far back, so I'm gonna get rid of some of this length right there. There we go. And then here on the front, I'm gonna refine the shape of the mask a little bit more. It has a sort of like spiky bit right there. There's like another spiky bit right there. And then there's actually like a round shape right here. And it goes into this sort of like pointy bit towards the back. Like this. I want to like exaggerate this curvature a little bit more. Do like a more interesting effect. There we go. And then on the eyes, she's got this like cat eyes shape like this. I when I was doing the stable diffusion thing, the prompt, I wrote like Venetian mask, gold mask. One of the things that I've been trying, well, not been trying, I have been doing to again avoid going into that sort of gray area of copyright and plagiarism is I'm not gonna be using. I don't think I ever would like to use an artist's name to make it look like their piece, because again, I do think that that's like a little bit like stealing. So I just let this neural thing run and do whatever it needs to to grab some reference and get something from there. We're gonna go into subtool. We're gonna go into extract, and the trick here is we're gonna extract this at 0 thickness. We're gonna extract and we're gonna hit accept, and immediately we're gonna get something that looks very, very close to a mask, which is this thing right here. Now, on the concept that I found, one of the things that I like was the fact that we lost the nose, but I think I do want to keep the mouth. So with this right here, we can actually already start like sculpting and creating something interesting. So I'm going to get rid of the nose. I'm just going to start adding some volume here. This is just a flat piece of, what's the word? A flat piece of geometry, right? It's just a plane. We can already start sculpting this plane in a slightly different fashion. I actually think I kind of like the sort of like creepy looking thing with this thing's going down. So let's just add the volume. Let's follow the concept a little bit closer. Or I don't think we can call it a concept, right? Let's follow the prompt. Set volume there, trim dynamic, and we're gonna start polishing some of the areas here. And I want to do this sketch before we re-dynamesh or change these things around, because that way when we do the series measure and all of the things that we're going to be doing, it's going to be a little bit closer to what we're expecting. Do not, and I repeat, do not dynamesh this. If you try dynameshing this, since it's like a flat plane, it's going to do like weird stuff. So don't try to dynamesh this. You can smooth it. You can trim dynamic, like you can push and pull the polys around. But I repeat, do not try to dynamesh this thing. It will not end good for you. Not a good idea to do so at this point. So again, we create this. I am going to change the shape of the eyes a little bit. I think they're a little bit too high. So we're going to bring them down. And now we can actually like bring the face back on again. And I'm going to push the mask a little bit forward. And I'm going to use the face as a point of reference to know how like far out or how close I need to keep things to make sure that we're not like eating part of the face, right? Because technically we would want someone to be wearing this like headpiece, and therefore we need to be a little bit more careful about how we transition this. Let's push this out a little bit. There we go. Perfect. Just going a little bit over the ears right there. Trim dynamic again to give this as a nice flat piece of metal. It's pretty much like if we were working with metal, with like a very thin piece of metal and just hammering it and molding it to match her. I do want to make this mask like a little bit destroyed. So again, there's a couple of things we're going to be doing. Now, I want to fix the curvature here. I do think it looks a little bit weird, and I want to go for this like accelerated shape. So I'm going to go with my select lasso right here. And we're going to select this in this sort of like curvature shape. And I want to like, if we're already using the sort of like curves on some of the areas, we can try and keep those over here. We will fix that. Again, I just want like this accelerated shape on the cheeks. Like I want to see a little bit of the cheeks of the character, and we're going to say delete hidden. Now the problem with this topology is, as I mentioned, we can't just do dynamics because it's going to fill everything in. So we actually need to first polish the borders a little bit. So I'm going to go all the way down to polygroups, or sorry, to deformation. And we're going to use a polish by features. And what polish by features does is it will try to smooth out the border of the polygons. You can see how we get like a pressed there on the border. It's going to help us with what we're about to do, which is of course series mesh. So we're going to go geometry, series mesh, and we're going to series mesh the whole thing. Hopefully, with series mesher, we're going to get something that looks really close to the topology that we're working for. Now, if we wanted perfect topology, you guys know the answer. The best thing we could do is we need to go and make it ourselves with like a manual retopology. I'm going to use my my C remesher guides. I'm going to try and help the series meshes, especially with like the eye shape with the things right here, with this line right here. I'm gonna increase the curve strength a little bit and hit Siri Mesh again. This, see guys, what they will do is they will like tell Siri Measure, hey, try to follow this specific pattern, try to follow this flow. It will not always do it like perfectly. Increase this a little bit more. Let's see if that helps. It won't always do it perfectly, but it should like really push it to a closer. There we go. That's a little bit better. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say half. I'm going to Siri Mesh again and do it again because I really want to go into like a low poly version of this element. There we go. This is way, way better. And even the topology is not that bad. We could even modify a couple of things, but as you can see, this looks quite nice. Now, again, we need to go to our character and modify a couple of elements so that we can create the thickness that we want. And now that we have fewer polygons, we can actually go to these little guys right here, for instance, and start pulling and pushing them around to create like the curvature and the effects that we want. For instance, this little thing on the front, I definitely want to like bend it forward and create like a little bit of an arc right there. Smooth that a little bit more there. Smooth. Just grab that little vertex right there. And I want to have this interesting form pushing forward on that specific part. Let's also push this to the side. It's kind of like box modeling, but in a slightly different way. I do like this thing, like covering the ears a little bit better. Although I'm thinking about the story, right? Remember, it's always important to think about story. So it's definitely like a royal character that's going to be going to this like fancy party, and she's going to be gossiping, and she doesn't want to be known, right? Like she doesn't want people to know who she is exactly. So that means that she's going to be hiding. That's why she's wearing the mask. But she wants to hear what people have to say, right? She's going for information. So we might want to like uncover the ears a little bit, keeping the shapes and everything, just uncover them a little bit so that she can actually hear something. Very important here. I'm going to try to smooth out the border down here. Because as you can see, this is a very lacy, very lacy line going to the jaw. And we want things to look as nice as possible. The jaw in the concept, she is like, it's covering like the lower side. In this one, I actually think it might be an interesting idea to keep it like going forward a little bit. Kind of like this sort of like bird shape. And I've seen some Venice masks where it's like a bird. In this case, I'm just going to increase it a little bit, just a little bit, so that she has room to speak freely without revealing her face, right? Oh my god. And the allergies are back. Unfortunately, we live very close to a park. And every time autumn hits, it's the same deal. I have to deal with my freaking allergies. There we go. Let's push the sharpness of the element right here. Again, I don't love the curvature here, so I don't want to do polish by features right now because we might lose some of the other things that we have. Actually, don't lose that much. A little bit of their polish there. And then with Zbrush, again, we'll push this out. Now, the shape of the eyes, I definitely want to capture this like a corner, like a very sharp, like raised corner. In makeup, I believe ladies call it like a cat's eye thingy. So I'm going to push that up. And I'm actually going to push some of these forms up. I don't want to reveal that much of her face. Same deal here in the nose. So we want to make the eyes slightly smaller, right? Like a little bit more mysterious. There we go. So now that we have this, now that we have a cool looking shape, we can actually extrude this. We can actually give it thickness so that we can start working on other parts of the element. So I'm going to go to geometry. We're going to say dynamic subdivision. And then we're going to say dynamic subdivision. We're going to activate it. And as you can see, we're immediately going to get a very nice, smooth like effect going around the face. And not only is it like covering the face really nicely, it forms and it conforms to the face in a nice way. I do think that it might be a good idea to adjust the silhouettes right here. Let's turn off dynamic subdivision so that we can like smooth this out a little bit. As you can see from the top view, it looks a little bit wonky as well. And one of the things that I always mention is that we always want our stuff to be looking good from every angle, right? Every angle, especially in 3D. That's what makes 3D 3D, right? The fact that we can see it from everywhere. So always important to have things looking nice everywhere. Let's turn dynamic subdivision on. That looks quite nice. I like it. And let's give it some thickness here. So thickness is like using the solidify modifier inside of a Blender. So I'm gonna use this something like that. I think is good. There we go. That looks quite nice. That's a good thickness, I would say. And we're gonna hit apply. So now what we have is we're actually I'm not gonna hit apply on the dynamic subdivision. I just want to. I would like to just give it the thickness. There we go. Here on the smooth subdiv, I'm gonna bring it back to 0. So I'm just gonna play. I'm just playing around here with thickness. A little bit more thickness. There we go. And now I'm gonna hit apply because at any point we can give it subdynamic subdivision, right? But if we have more polygons, then the next couple of tools that I want to use might get a little bit complicated to use. So I'm gonna start with a very nice bevel here on the borders. So I'm gonna go with my C modeler. And we're gonna go into edge bevel, and we're gonna do edge loop complete. Let's see if we get it. No, it breaks right there. So we're not gonna do edge loop complete. We're gonna do edge loop partial. So we're gonna do that bevel right there, that bevel right there. As you can see, it goes around. Should be fair enough. And this is might not be like animation ready topology. It should give us a nice result. There we go. Perfect. So what that will do is when we use subdivision, like a subdivision method, as you can see right there, the edges will hold a little bit better. And if we want to hold them even better, like we want a super straight edge, which is what I want actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into edge again, and we're going to insert some support edges here and there, and on the eyes. So this guy right there, and this guy. So again, when we smooth, if we were to subdivide this, it's gonna give me a really nice and sharp edge on that specific part. Cool. Now I want to add a border. Most of these masks have like a sort of like a border going around the whole thing. So I'm gonna turn on polyform again, and here's where poly loops work really nicely, because if I go here to polygroup, I can polygroup the poly loop. And as you can see, it goes all the way around. In this case, it goes all the way around, it seems, to the other side as well. It's not exactly what I want. Let me see if I can poly loop the edge. So I'm going to go to edge. There we go. So we can grab down. It's actually this one, the one that I want. Okay, that's fine. Let's just polygroup the whole thing here. Let's see if we can get. Ooh, actually, that looks quite nice, like keeping this thing out of the frame. That looks interesting because we actually don't have a what's the word? A flow there. Actually, stopping right there, it's not a bad idea. And now I'm gonna go into QMesh, and we're gonna say QMesh polygroup island, and we're gonna QMesh this thing out again, so that when we subdivide, as you can see right here, get a really nice, interesting border throughout the mask. Not bad, right? Not bad for, what is it, like 10 minutes? 15 minutes? 18 minutes. Okay, we're spending quite a bit of time. Well, not quite a bit, but enough time, right? So there we go. We have something that looks very cool. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a couple of subdivision levels. We're going to be working on subdivision levels now. And then if we need to jump into Dynamesh, we'll do it. And it's time to start adding a little bit of life to the mask, right? Because it looks very bland right now. So I'm going to start by adding a little bit of extra like eyebrows right here. So otherwise it looks a little bit flat. And very importantly, as we mentioned over here, we can start carving a little bit and creating this sort of like cat-like, like sharp line going up. It's a very, I would say, common trend in makeup, where they add like the triangle on the corner. And I actually, in this particular case, since we're doing this like sculpting, we're sculpting this, I don't care too much about things being perfect. I actually want this damaged, like this mask to look a little bit damaged and worn. I've been reading. I mentioned this a couple of what's the word, videos ago. There was a book fair recently here in the neighboring city, very big book fair, and we went there, and I got books by Brandon Sanderson. There's a very famous saga that he has called Mistborn, and I've just started reading it. I'm like halfway through the first book, and I love it. I love it. It's really, really, really good. Did I activate something that I shouldn't have? Oh no. Oh no. Let's try opening the dock. No. I don't know what happened. There we go. Sometimes it gets like stuck or something. Let's. I'm gonna do a quick save real quick. Part of the pun intended. I'm gonna do a quick save. So yeah, I've been reading Mistborn, and I'm not gonna spoil anything in case anyone wants to read it. But it is this sort of Victorian etch like society, and as expected in this sort of like stories, there's a little bit of political intrigue and things like that. There's like the high nobility and the people right on the ground. So there's a little bit of everything. It's pretty cool. If you guys are fans of fantasy, I strongly recommend. He uses a very interesting magic system. He's very well known for his systems apparently, and he uses a very interesting magic system for his book. There we go. Let's turn on the face. I want to see the face because I want to make sure that the expression that we're doing, it's like an interesting and nice expression. I don't want this to be like an angry expression. I'm trying to go more for like either a mysterious or like maybe like a sexy look. Like that works nice. One thing we can do, I don't usually like doing this, but you can definitely grab like a gold. And that way, like, let's go to the character right here. Let's go to our basic material. And well, actually, let's go to the mask. Let's go to the gold material. I'm going to select the M up here. And I'm going to go color, fill object. That way, if I go back to the starter material, the mask's still going to be gold. And it's a good idea to get a general picture of how things are looking. I'm going to use trim dynamic again to sharpen this line right here. And I'm trying to find like other like lines or things that were interesting in the concept that I do want to follow. So there's like a border around the eyes, like around the whole eyes. If you want to add it. I'm using just my clay buildup to go around the eyes. I think we're gonna fuse it with the eyebrows right there. And then we're gonna go up here. Just carving there a little bit. Trim dynamic to clean things up. One thing I do like about this gold material is it's very obvious when things are not like flowing or you have like weird pinches and stuff. So if there's a couple of areas that are not as crisp, you are going to immediately see it on the shine, which is a really good idea and a really good way to check if your details are flowing in the direction that you intend them to flow. Over here, I'm kind of just following the shapes and creating this sort of like interesting looking detail. It's all about, I know this sounds really crazy, or it's going to sound really crazy. And it always sounds crazy when I say it, but the sculpture talks to you. Not literally, I'm not hearing voices, I swear. It's not that I hear voices or anything, it's just that you kind of feel where things are going to be flowing and forming something that looks interesting. So you just go with that like intuition. I think it's like an artistic intuition that you develop, and that artistic intuition will get you to create things that are looking quite nice. Going here with them in standard, very softly, very carefully, because we don't wanna affect the other side. And I'm still not in love with this silhouette right here. Like everything else is starting to look quite nice, but I don't love the silhouette. So I'm gonna go back to the low subdivision level because it's easier to modify these things in this low subdivision level. I'm gonna start like playing around with the shape of this like low section of the mask. There we go. Doesn't look half bad. It's isolated. Let's go back to the high poly. And there's like a couple of planes that you can see now here on the front. It's kind of like a bird's beak, right? Looks interesting. I'm gonna use Damien Standard. Let's create again like, and here's where again the we've talked about this one before. The lazy mouse works really nice. So tool. No, sorry. Where is it? Transform. No, stroke. Lazy mouse. I'm gonna increase the lazy radius so that I can create this nice clean line going there towards the eye. That's a really nice crisp line. And then I'm gonna go with Alt to go at the side of that one and keep it or give it a very sharp effect. Look at that. Nice. I like this. I like how this is looking. Now I'm thinking about you guys know I always mention the rest areas, right? Like there's gonna be areas of our element where we want our characters to rest their view, or to, we don't want to have a lot of information. That's important to keep a balance. For instance, right here, I do think a line right there might look quite interesting. It won't really break. I'm gonna go forward. I'm kind of going into the beak right there. I don't know. We're gonna go in like this and just like smooth it out. There we go. So what's gonna happen is this area right here, the triangle that we have right here, I'm gonna keep it smooth, but we're gonna add detail all the way, like all in this like upper place right here, or upper plane. Which again, I kind of wanna divide with my lazy mouse right there. There we go. So this section right here, all of this upper section is gonna be filled with detail, and I'm probably gonna be showing this technique. I'm not sure if it's gonna be able to. I'm gonna be able to do it tomorrow, guys, but it's gonna be done next after our Halloween week, because we're gonna start with our Halloween week this Monday. After our Halloween week, I promise we'll come back to this mask if I don't finish it right now, which I don't think I will, to be honest. And I'll show you a technique to add like a lot of really intricate detail. Let's remove that. So as you can see, we have 3 panels. We have the side panel, we have the upper panel, and then we have this panel. And this thing that I just did here, this is like a little, like happy little accident. It kind of, and you guys are going to be the judges, let me know in the comments if you see it or not. It kind of looks like a big smile, right? Like if I went with the smile all the way to my eyes. So it's kind of creepy in a way, which I kind of like. I do want to add the division there, because I'm going to go here with my Damien Standard. Gonna just polish up the eye area. As you can see, the topology is having a little bit of an issue because, of course, it was not prepared for like a super smooth effect right here. If we want to really clean this up, we will need to do manual retopology or really increase the subdivision. But in this case, I think we can use a little bit of like this hammer technique with the trim dynamic to give it a little bit of this handmade look to the whole thing right here. I was thinking about, and that was one of the prompts. I did a couple of tests for the concept piece, for the illustration, and one of the things that I was thinking was having like black, like details, like enamel or something like that. So I was thinking maybe on the corners of the eyes there, that would be like a black enamel. And of course, like if we were to give our character makeup, she would be wearing like really. Let's go for like a. Go mask pen. So in her case, she would be wearing like really heavy, like a mascara and really heavy, like makeup. Kind of like, you guys remember Jennifer from The Witcher? Yes, she has this very like dark, moody makeup. So you would not really see her her skin tone or anything. It would be a little bit hidden by the mascara. Let's use again our Damien Standard, since we already have this very nice like lacy stroke. Very soft here to support this edge on the top. Especially on the areas where it might seem a little bit weak or a little bit soft. That's where you definitely want to do it. I'm going to use trim dynamic again, or as well, to sharpen up the bevel in this upper plane right here. So we see sharp transition. I'm even tempted to increase the amount of bevel here on the top. I really want to see like a slight change in planes right there on the top part. I'm having fun. Can you tell, guys? It's been a while since I've done like some sort of like original artwork. I know we did. What was it? Well, this week was a lot of motivational and philosophical things. We talked about like how to learn, and then we talked about how to some of my old stuff. And I think maybe with this video we'll finally hit 30,000 subscribers. Well, let me check how many we have right now. Let me check. So if you guys are seeing it and you already see the 30,000, say congratulations on the video for everyone to enjoy. We are at 29,886 subscribers. It's a lot of people. Imagine that. 29,000. I think I could go. I'm pretty sure if I visited, at least I know most of our audience is from India. If I ever go to the India, and believe me, it's now on my bucket list. I'm sure I would meet a couple of you guys, which would be great. Now let's start decorating this thing a little bit. For instance, here I can treat this as a sort of like branching out element. So yes, we have the, what's the word? The main like division. We can actually carve in. And I don't know. I think I'm gonna go for this sort of like tree motif, which is, I know, very common, but you can use this twirly things. Not everywhere. I don't want to do it everywhere, but we can make sure, or we can imply that the border here is kind of like going into the mask in a couple of regions. Like that. Not bad, right? Always think about following the shape and the direction of the face. For instance, here, kind of want to do one. Let's see if it flows nicely. I'm gonna smooth it out, of course, so that it lands with the old effects. There we go, and then usually when things like connect, you would get this sort of like thingy. Let's see if you can see it, like this sort of like two parts of the same thing, like the same spiral, kind of like colliding, right? I'm expecting to see a little bit of that, so symmetrical looking shape, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, we can push this up a little bit, polish it, just smooth it out. It's just like a soft, nice transition towards the other effect. And when you, I always use that little technique in areas where things look a little bit weird. So for instance, here, you can definitely add like a couple of bumps and maybe play around with the silhouette, kind of like layers or like pillars or something, mainly to hide the fact that that area is getting a little bit too convoluted, or the topology there is not flowing as well. Or if I definitely see that it's not working as I intended, I'll just erase the little line that we had there. We'll just keep it like a straight point. So just smooth that out. There we go. Smooth that out. There we go. Very nice shape, I would say. Quite different from our concept piece, right? And again, this is, it's not that I'm trying to make a point. It's just, I'm just saying that we can get some really cool ideas for a mask, and then we adapt those ideas into something that looks a little bit more interesting. So for instance, this one, I think we're getting somewhere in regards to the general forms and shapes of the thing. So yeah, this is it, guys. I'm gonna stop the video right here because we've already been working on this for a little bit over half an hour. Thank you very much for sticking around for 34, almost 35 minutes. If you like this, always remember to comment, like, and share. That's what keeps me informed that you like it. Otherwise, I just drop the series. And it also keeps us going, right? Again, as I mentioned, we're really close to our next goal. And after that, just keep going. We just need to keep going. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much. And I'll see you back on the next one. Bye-bye.